Hey juniors, this is your first actual kind of class assignment. We've had some easy cheesy stuff we've had to turn in, but this is our first 10-point assignment here. Actually, we worked a little more than that, but it's our first assignment that's really going to go in the books and kind of as like a real assignment. Everyone should get this. We're going to talk about something really important today, and that's annotation. Okay, so what I want you to do is to go ahead and just circle that word right there, annotation. And I'm going to assume that many of you don't know what annotation means. And so what I want you to do is I want you to actually do this. Annotation means to write in text. Go write that on your paper. Okay? You have now annotated. Then let me make this really clear. This is the annotation right here. This is what I'm giving points for. This is your definition, my definition. But this is the words. This underlining part, or if I highlight it, that's not annotating. Okay, so I'm looking that you are writing in the text. Okay, if you didn't know that yet as a high school student, that's what we're talking about. When you write in text, when you do this, you're interacting with text in meaningful ways. You know, if you're like a normal person, or if you're like me, if you start to read, sometimes what happens is you just get sidetracked and things fly right out of your brain. And you zone out. And so what we want to try to do is create opportunities so that we can read closely, analyze text, and not forget what we're reading. And so this is a really, really helpful tool. Plus, it's a lot easier, too, when we talk in class, because you'll be able to look right at your paper and give comments so that you're not, just daydreaming kind of out of it. So we really want to write in text. It makes things a lot more interesting. Okay, so here's the guidelines we're going to use this year, mostly. These aren't the only ways to annotate, but we're going to use this nevertheless. I like this. There's some good stuff. Here's what you're going to do. You are going to, if you've got highlighters, that's great. You can use green, blue, pink, or yellow. I know that's not, these aren't color coded here because it's black and white because it's just a photocopy. Or you can, if you just have a pen like me today, because you're low tech, you can just put a bracket around stuff for the main claim or main idea. And we're going to look for that in the text. I'm going to give this one to you, but you'd look typically, on those really important lines. Probably at the beginning or the end is where you're going to find that main claim or main idea. But sometimes it's in the middle, and so we're going to be looking for what is the author mainly trying to say. We're going to look for things that support that. So anytime you find something that supports that, you'd underline that. Now let me say this again. Just because you put a bracket and underline doesn't mean that you annotated. You need to actually do this. It says over here, in your own words, summarize the main claim or the main ideas and or theme. So you need to be able to actually write in the text. Underline what supports it, supporting ideas. Here's where we get to vocabulary down here. So number 3 is about challenging vocabulary, putting a box around challenging vocabulary, putting a circle around essential vocabulary. So right here, we're looking for, just vocabulary words. Important ones are ones that are challenging. And then the last one, this is what I like to think of as the catch-all, is just put a star. If there's anything else that you want to say in the text, put a star and then write it. It could be anything. We're talking about just clarifying stuff, like putting it in words that make sense. That's really important. Connecting with examples from your own life or the world. Super important. Okay? You have connections. You have background about this. Okay, we call that schemata. It's like your background. It's like what you bring to the text, and it's different than anyone else in class. It's so cool to talk about your experiences. And then the last thing is just your own comments. What's your analysis? What do you think about this? Your opinions. So make it interesting. I want you to put a star there. I want you to connect to this. Okay. All right. So we're going to look at this text, and this will go for about 2 minutes more. I want you to copy exactly what I do. And the first thing that I like to annotate is the title usually. And so this is called The Sun Still Rises in the Same Sky, Native American Literature by Joseph Brookcock, I think is his name. And what I'm going to do, I see a very important word there, is I'm going to go ahead and circle that word Native American. And I think that when I see that, I know that means we use the term Indian, okay? And that's an incorrect term, okay? That's not a politically correct term. But we use that term. And for all practical purposes, a lot of us think, Indians, like cowboys and Indians, things like that. And so I'm going to go ahead and write that down, even though it's an incorrect term. It helps me clarify what we're talking about here. I don't know what this means, the sun still rises. I don't know what that's about. But but I do know this is going to be about Native Americans. And it's also going to be about literature. Okay? So something about Indians, something about books, okay? Maybe essays or poems. I'm going to put a little question mark right there. It's important vocabulary, but, I'm going to put a little question anyway, okay? So I've already got a couple annotations, but I'm going to keep going here. So I know what we're talking about. Few peoples have been as appreciated and at the same time as misrepresented as the many different cultures today called American Indian or Native American. Whoa, okay. I got to reread that to make sure that I understood it. Few peoples have been as appreciated and at the same time as misrepresented as the many different cultures today called American Indian or Native American. That sounds like a really important sentence. And you know what? I'm going to cheat a little bit. I've read the rest of this article, you guys. So what I'm going to let you know is this is going to be the actual main claim or main idea. It does happen to be in the first sentence. And this is the best sentence for that main claim in this article. So I want you to put a bracket around it. But we're not done yet. What we need to do is we need to decide what this means. Few peoples have been as appreciated and at the same time as misrepresented. So that means Native Americans have been appreciated or celebrated. So I'm going to write that down. They have been, use that word, appreciated means celebrated. That's as misrepresented, at the same time as misrepresented. But also, what does misrepresented mean? Okay, but also misunderstood or revealed incorrectly or shown in the wrong light, something like that. I'm going to put revealed in the wrong way. The many different cultures today called American Indian or Native American. Okay, so I'm going to look for things that are mostly going to be about, looks like this part's really important, but also revealed in the wrong way. And it looks to me as if we're going to see how, we're going to see a revealing of what is true about Native American culture or American Indians. That's what it looks like to me. Images of Indian central to mainstream America from Longfellow's misnamed epic poem, The Song of Hiawatha, which actually tells the story of Chippewa hero Mansaboso, not the Iroquois Hiawatha. Whoa, there's a lot of words in here. To the Cowboys and Indians tradition of movies about the Old West. Yet it's only recently that the authentic literary voices of Native Americans have received serious attention. Okay. So let's break this down for a second. I'm going to put a star next to this one. So it looks to me like what he's saying is that these images were misnamed epics, or the Cowboys and Indians, all these things have something in common, or tradition of movies about the Old West. It shows like, I'm going to put a little star right here. So basically it looks like what it's saying is Indians have been misrepresented in the way that they look. And the way they look is, I'm going to use that word, misrepresent, I'm going to use a better word than that, is maybe even stereotyped. I hope you know what stereotype means. It means that they follow a certain pattern. And I'm going to even add a little bit of my own stereotype. I don't know if you've ever seen the Disney movies where they say something like how, and they've got the Indian, he puts up his hand and says how. So I think that's kind of what he's actually referring to. But he does talk about, even some more collegiate, literature like, Longfellow's misnamed epic poem. So it sounds like Song of Hiawatha was also a stereotype, or at least it was a misrepresentation of what Indians were really like. Okay, those are a couple annotations. I think I've got 4 or 5 here on this first page, just 4. I'm looking for 5 or 6 more here, and I want you to go through this next page and go ahead and do that.